Hi there, and congratulations on the purchase of your new Ozark Trail Pro Series cast net. Whether you're fishing offshore, inshore, or many of the interior lakes and rivers, catching your own bait is not only satisfying, but it's an economical way to lower the cost of bait and bring the freshest bait into your live well for your upcoming fishing trip. Whether you're fishing for pogies, finger mullet, gizzard shad, shiners, or minnows, a cast net is a great way to catch a lot of bait in a really quick way. Make sure you're following your local rules and regulations as to what fish you can keep that you catch in a cast net. If you'll follow along this video, I'll show you some quick tips and tricks to quickly learn the art of throwing a cast net. It takes a little practice and a little persistence, but I'm confident that if you watch this video, you'll learn everything you need to know to get out the door and start practicing for yourself. All right, to start, you're going to lay your cast net out, make sure it's all untangled. Start with the rope end of the cast net. There'll be a loop on the end like this. Take that loop and push some of the rope through the loop so it makes a noose. Put your hand through that loop and pull it tight on your left hand. That's assuming you're right hand dominant, it's your strong hand. So you're going to want to put it on your left hand if you're right-handed, put it on your right hand if you're left-handed. Okay, after you got the rope looped to your wrist, you're going to start coiling the rope in your left hand. So you're going to pull about double your chest into a loop. This doesn't have to be perfect, but just try to make them consistent. Medium-sized loops. Keep making these loops until you've gotten all of your rope into your hand. Loop it and loop it. Okay, when you get to these wafers, we call the horn, make sure they're both together at the top and grab just underneath the top of that rope or that net. Now we bring that also into our left hand. So now you've got your coils of rope and the net in your left hand. Make sure your thumb is up in this position, not down, thumb up, net and rope coil in your hand. We're going to lift that up and come down about halfway down the net. Once we're about halfway down the net, you're going to bring that part up and in, and then add that to your left hand. So now you've got the top half of the net coiled and in your left hand. All your weight's hanging down below, out of the bottom of your hand. We're going to grab kind of the closest weight, closest to the right side here, and we're going to do about 2 fans out to get about 1/3 of the net over our right arm. So we throw it out, 1, 2 fans, that's about 1/3 of the net. Once you got about 1/3 of the net here in your over top of your right hand, you're going to stick your elbow in the gap that you've created in between this stack of weights on the left side. You can free this hand and you're going to grab this net here that you've just separated. You grab this net here that you just separated, you're going to go under by your armpit and over your left shoulder around by your neck. So it'll look something like this. Okay? One more time. Just like that. So now your net is hanging on your back like this with about 1/3 of the weights hanging right there. So you got 2/3 of your weights left here hanging down. Now you're going to go inside the net. So grab that same little part here close to you, closest to your body, about your belt buckle. Go inside the net and you're going to get about half of this sorted out to the right side. So once you feel like you got about half of the weights past your right hand, kind of grab the net part of that, the net part, and bring it towards your body, towards your navel, until you get to the weighted rope. And you're going to want to hold the net part in your bottom 3 fingers and use your thumb and forefinger to grasp the weighted rope, the black rope. So now you're pretty much ready to throw. Important part here is you want to keep your hands together, not separated apart. So keep your hands together. We're going to throw in the direction that's basically right over our right shoulder. So in this situation, right towards the camera. So you turn your body perpendicular to the direction you want to throw. The target is right out in front of me. You're going to swing all of this rope and everything behind you, weights and all, until it kind of hits you in the backside. So you're going to kind of swing to your left and wait about a second until all those weights gather together in your back. And then you're going to go forwards towards the camera here. So that it should look something like this. And then let everything go. Now it's not just throw and let everything go. When you swing around, the force and the momentum of that rope, let it all, pull it all out of your hand. Don't just throw it and let it go. cock back, forwards, and as everything pulls out, including that rope that's between your thumb and forefinger, let the weight and the inertia of the weights pull everything out of your hands, really kind of last thing being that rope pulled between your thumb and forefinger. And then let it all go out. All right, let's take a look at that again a little bit closer. So again, loop on your arm. Now, coil your rope. About double your chest until you get all your rope coiled up here. Okay, that's all of our rope. We grab the net just below the horn and pass that into our left hand if we're right-handed. It's all just mirrored if you're left-handed. So now we got it all in our left hand, thumb pointed up. Lift the net up, make sure everything's untangled. We're going to grab it about halfway, bunch it together and grab it. Then loop that up inside and grab that with our left hand as well. So you have a circle here to see through. Thumb up, all the rest of it in your left hand. Now, we're going to fan the net over our right hand. So we fan a little over until we get about a third of the net in our hand. So we do that probably 2 times till we're about a third of the way through. So we've got that part in our right hand, hanging over our right hand with our net, our hand inside. Stick our left elbow in here to separate so we can take our right hand out. Grab that net, drop our elbow, and then we go under our arm and over our left shoulder, up against our neck, like that. So now we got that third on our back. So now we've got this amount here. So we come in about our belt, and we go inside the net, and we work our hand through here until we get about halfway through the net. Make sure things stay untangled the best you can. Okay, about halfway through. Turn our hand out and use the bottom, your pinky, ring, and middle finger to grab the net part of this. So we grab that until we get to our weighted line. And then we bring our thumb on the outside and we pinch our weighted line. That's probably the hardest part to be able to see and grasp, but we get that half of the net in our bottom 3 fingers and the weighted line in our thumb and index finger. Now we're pretty much ready to throw. So we turn, aim between me and the camera, and we're going to swing it over to the left, give it about 1 second for all the weights to hit our back, and then turn and throw and let the momentum of the net pull everything out of our hand. Last thing really being your thumb and forefinger. Here we go. You don't have to heave it out there. You don't have to launch it. You don't need to throw it up in the air like that because that causes one side of the net to hit the water sooner. It'll cause your circle to collapse. So nice, even, hands close together. Let the weight and momentum of the net pull everything out of your hand. So the closest part to you is the last thing to leave, and it lays out in a nice big circle. Once we let the net sink for a few seconds until it gets to about where our bait is, depending on the depth of the water, then we gather our net back in, pull in all that nice fresh bait that you've got for your fishing trip. Now it might take a few throws, take a little practice, get out in the yard, away from any sticks or anything sharp that's going to catch this net and potentially rip it and put holes in it. The yard's a great place to get out and do some practice. There's other ways to learn how to throw a cast net. There's lots of YouTube videos out there to learn how to do it. This is just one way. It's the quickest and most effective way to learn how to throw the cast net. This is a 6-foot net, so the longer net you have, the more weights and more rope you're going to have to deal with. But essentially, the practice is the same no matter what. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you catch a lot of bait on your next fishing trip. Thanks for watching, and thanks for purchasing Ozark Trail.